You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, this is Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There, ladies and that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show loves you. More than anyone else in the world, the Chris Voss Show loves you, even more than your mom. Your mom's not totally happy with you. You got to work on a couple of those things that she's got on our agenda for you. But we love you. And we love you because you're always referring the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, Facebook.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and Chris Voss one on the TikTokity. Today, we have an amazing young lady on the show. We're going to be talking about her book and insights. It is entitled Beautifully Broken, Learning to Trust God in My Brokenness, out November 26, 2024 by Lavon Hodge. We're going to get in with her, and she has an astounding career with the U.S. military service and defending our democracy, as it were. Lavon was born in St. Vincent and raised in the United States Virgin Islands. She's a retired U.S. Army soldier, over 28 years of military experience. I said that twice because, wow, that's wonderful and powerful. She holds an MS in clinical mental health counseling and aspires to become an acclaimed author. She prides herself on her faith and spiritual convictions as her foundational to her writing style. And her passion for openness and honesty is evident in her book. Her story is truly inspiring. She details some of the journey of the most painful and rewarding moments of her life, her academic achievements, her time in service, opportunities to live abroad, and the challenge of motherhood, life after divorce, and more are captured as she invites the reader to step into her experience. Welcome to the show, Lavon. How are you?
Hi, Mr. Voss. I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for coming. Give us any.com's website, social media, wherever you want people to find you on the interwebs.
So I can be found at Beautifully Blessed. That's BEAUTIFULLY BLESS.com. I can be found there.
All right. So give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside your book?
The book Beautifully Broken it's about life. It's about trauma. It's about overcoming trauma. It's about learning to live. It's about learning to trust again, love again, moving forward after disappointment, rejection. It is about being an overcomer by trusting in God.
Being an overcomer. And, we get thrown a lot of things in life. I think, we've talked about this on the show. I don't think there's anybody who goes through life without being challenged at whatever level they're at in development. There always seems to be challenges that come. With this book, what inspired you to write it? And what was the motivation? Was there a moment that happened where you're like, I'm going to write a book about this?
So no, I didn't wake up one morning and be like, I'm just going to tell the world my whole story. But writing has always been a passion for me. It was my way of escape. And so as I go through life, there was just this innate desire to write and tell a story about this young girl that went through so much in life, that was able to overcome what she went through. And by doing it, share it with the world and share it with someone else that is also experiencing their own level of trauma, so that they will know that it doesn't define who you are. You can still be going through a lot and suffering and still be victorious and still enjoy life, not just existing. And so the desire was placed in my heart by, I would say, the Spirit. It just placed it in my heart to write it, and being obedient to that Spirit, I just sat down one day and I said, okay, I'm going to start writing. I started writing roughly about 2020 during the height of COVID. had nothing else to do. What a better time to
Yeah.
start writing. So I started writing, and that begins the journey for me.
That's awesome. At COVID, we've been blessed with the show because we interview authors, and we've been really. I mean, COVID was a kind of a blessing in disguise, and kind of a horrific blessing in disguise. But I guess out of sometimes the worst moments in life come the best, and so many great authors like yourself took that time to write books, and to kind of take note of their lives. I think it was really important and significant with how we met that moment in some ways where a lot of people took a look around. I did. My values changed. I was like, family's more important than all this crap that I chase because, you know, sure I can have a car, but my loved ones can be gone in a second with COVID, and we saw a lot of that. But yeah, what a great time for it's. I almost kind of half wish. I'm like, can we get another one of those COVID things? Not and no one dies, but everyone gets more. It made great guests on the show. So now talk to us about your life. Tell us about your upbringing. And I suppose this is a memoir that covers a lot of that. How did you grow up? What were some of the conditions that you were raised in? What made you want to join the military, et cetera, et cetera?
So, of course, the environment I grew up in, the island, I'm talking about the island, the externals of the family is beautiful. Sunny beach, green trees, mountains, nature. So that's the beauty of it. It's a small little island. There's 3 islands together. There's a St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John, with St. Croix, which is the one I grew up on, being the biggest. Now, I was originally born in St. Vincent, as you mentioned, and the Grenadines. However, when I was about maybe 4 or 5-ish, I think my parents immigrated to the U.S. Virgin Islands. And so that's where I did the majority of my growing up and all of my schooling. From kindergarten all the way till high school. That's where I did most of my schooling. Now, when you talk about the island itself is beautiful, but when you talk about my family dynamic, it was a little bit traumatic. I grew up in a very devout Christian type home, very, very strict. My parents, we were in church all the time. Like if they had church Monday to Sunday, we were there. Even kids. It almost felt like it was the only place we had relief, and it was always everything was church. It was church, 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 and but away from church, the upbringing was very chaotic because my mother had, she had me. I'm what they call an outside child. I don't know if that's the right word to put it. Child? But my mom, she had a baby outside of her marriage. I'm the product of that mistake she called. But so my life growing up, it was a reflection of her mistake.
Wow.
So my treatment, my upbringing, my nurturing was all centered around anger, and it was very, very hard for me because of the mistake and the things the choices she made. It was very hard for her to love me as that child. And so it was that really, rejection is what I remember, being rejected by my mother. She couldn't love me for whatever reason. She just couldn't.
Wow.
And I'm not angry now. But as a child, of course, you're
confused. Why doesn't somebody love me?
You don't understand why. What is it about me? What makes me unlovable?
Yeah.
I have my siblings with me, and they have their own stuff that they're dealing with, and of course, there's sexual molestation that happens, and there are other things that happen, and those were the dynamics of my childhood. I just went through a lot of sexual trauma, a lot of violence, physical violence, and bullying, because it was just so much packed on in my little bit of life growing up that I'm still wondering how I made it, but God. But God, I made it. And I would think, and sometimes I sit back and I look back and I was like, how did you make it through and still excel. I mean, I did great in school. My grades were fine.
Yeah.
And I'm thriving in school. Academically, I am knocking it out the park.
Hmm.
But everything else around me is chaotic and I'm barely making it.
Yeah.
I have to
That's
tell
un that's unfortunate. She kind of kept you end up feeling marked as the odd one out, the person that maybe you were a reflection of her poor mistakes, and that's the sad part of what happens. I and so do you go to the military as a way to try and find order from the chaos, or what drove you to the military?
So what drove me to the military was, of course, from all the stuff that happened,
Hmm.
your life goes through a cycle of brokenness. So everything you're doing from your in your life is centered around that brokenness. So all the
Okay.
decision you make, like having a baby at 18,
Oh.
and then having another baby at 22. So
Mm.
those are the things and the decisions that I made that put me in a bind because here I am. I have two beautiful children
Hmm.
and I have no means to take care of them.
Yeah.
And the only means at the time was I was getting government assistance. And that's the only way, literally, that I was able to take care of my kids. I lived in government housing. I got SNAP, what they call it was food stamp back then, they call it SNAP now.
Hmm.
Then, I got welfare because neither one of the kids' father was helping to take care of them. So
Hmm.
I was completely reliant on the government to raise my kids.
Hmm.
And that's not what I wanted for them. I didn't
Hmm.
want to be just that person that barely making it because the money I was making was really, really small. And so I was like, what can I do? Because I prayed and I said, Lord, I want to take care of my kids. Help me to take care of my kids and to give them a good life. And I remember one day I was just walking around the mall randomly. And in the mall, there's the big old sign, which is back in the days, is be all you can be. And and so I said, you know what? Let me go in and ask. And so I walked into the recruiter's office and just started asking questions. They say, what can you do for the army? I was asking, what can the army do for me? And so that began my journey. And I went in, and then he explained to me that, if you join the army, there's a lot of benefits for you. You get housing, you get clothing, you make this much amount every month, and it brings stability. And I'm like, okay, I need that. And
Yeah.
so
Stability.
it brings stability. You will get stability in the military. It worked for me.
Yeah. You.
And and I joined, and so I just went through the series. I started working out, starting getting ready to go, get my mind right,
Hmm.
and I joined the army. And I tell you the truth, when I joined the army the first time, I did not like it.
Ah.
I did not like basic training. I
Ah.
did not like being yelled at. I did not like being afraid. I did not like any of the things that the army does when they're tearing you down to build you up. That's the
Yeah.
stuff that really, really made me uncomfortable. But I thank God for grace to stick with it.
Mm.
Because I stuck with it 28 years later, I
Hmm.
retired. So I made it
Oh.
a I went in as a private and I
Hmm.
left the military as a CW4.
Way to go! Congratulations. The
Thank
is that like a I don't know all the different things. Isn't there like C or E or D or I don't know. There's
So
always
you
things.
have the E for the enlisted side, you have the
Okay.
C for the chief warrant officer side, and then you have the officer side, which is
Huh.
from the lieutenant all the way to the general.
Huh. There you go. Well, congratulations and thank you for your service. I mean, you folks keep the world safer for us all, and we just would love everything you guys do for us. And we need to honor you guys way more. Like seriously, folks, lobby more for the Veterans Administration.
Thank you.
Um, yes. And so in the army, you probably found like kind of a whole new family, maybe once you decided you liked it beyond basic training. That basic training was pretty rough. That's
I I honestly did. I met some truly phenomenal people in the military.
mhm.
And like you said, you build a whole new family. So I got to see family from a whole different perspective.
Ah.
From the family that I had that was chaotic to
Hmm.
a family that you get to pick the people that that are surrounding you. So
Ah,
you're building that family, and I think that's what makes the dynamic so phenomenal. Because if you don't want somebody in it, you just avoid them. But then the army is so tight knit that the people that you generally gravitate to is
mhm.
so supportive.
Ah,
We support each other a whole lot. Family, mentally, emotionally, and maybe sometimes even financially. So that's
yeah.
the one thing I must say. I've met some phenomenal people in the military, and today some of us we are still friends and connected.
There you go. Yeah, it's a wonderful brotherhood. In fact, I remember one of my friends who was going back to Iraq for fourth tour of duty. I was like, dude, you've gotten. He was a sniper, and I'm like, dude, you've gotten through three tours of duty in that area. If you're going back, you're rolling the dice some more. That things could happen, and it was interesting his outlook. He missed the brotherhood. He missed the family that he had. He's like, Chris, when you're in battle and in the military, these people are your brothers and sisters. They're your backbone, and you can rely on them, and they rely on you. And so it kind of gives you a purpose too. Um, and he's like, when I'm here home in the States, he goes, I feel lost. There's no one to back me up. I don't back anyone up. It's just me. And he goes, I have a real hard time with it. I mean, he would just sit around and play military video games all the time, and he's just struggled to meet people. But man, as soon as he went back to the military, that was his home. And hey, I mean, everyone's got their thing, right?
Everyone has to show. That's so true.
Yeah. And he just wanted that brotherhood, the sisterhood back of being in the military. There's a code of honor that you guys have. There's great
Yes, it
leadership.
is.
Yeah, we have one of the best leadership militaries in the world. You kind of see how some of the other structures. It was kind of interesting what Russia did in attacking Ukraine. I mean, they were once thought to be the second greatest army or military in the world next to us, and turns out they're the second greatest military in Ukraine. So there you go. As people read your book, what are maybe some lessons or things you want them to learn or maybe take away from the book as they read it?
The one most important thing I want people to take away from my book is that your past don't define you. It
Oh.
does shape you. It
Hmm.
does, but it doesn't have to define you. So you don't have to remain stuck in that place of brokenness. You don't have to remain stuck angry. You don't have to remain stuck bitter. You don't have to be hateful. You don't have to be malicious, vengeful, or even try to get even. You can rise above all that you have went through and become a better version of yourself. So
Mm.
you don't have to stay broken.
Hmm.
It's a
But
choice.
where's the fun in that, though?
Oh, true. It's true. But sometimes you get even, and even don't always mean that you're going to be okay because
Yeah.
sometimes you get even, but then what?
Mm.
So I think the best thing you can do is not to allow yourself to be stuck in that place of brokenness. Allow God to put the pieces of you back together meticulously because with every piece that He puts back together, He puts it back together better, stronger, and greater.
Mm.
There's a version of you that people are going to get coming out of your brokenness that reflects that you have really been through something and have came through it and what you have dealt with,
Hmm.
and if you have survived that, they too can. So
Hmm.
that's the takeaway I want people to know. There is something deep within you that will propel you forward to go higher and be better in anything you set your mind to.
What a great vision! What a great vision! And yeah, your past does not define you. I think that's one of a great talking point from your book, that people need to understand because sometimes people do get stuck in a loop where they let their past keep defining them. They keep making the same mistake over and over, and they just don't wake up and say, "Hey, as you went through your military service and your family, um, did did you find healing and were able to rebridge to your family and stuff? Sometimes people will go to like the military or other things, and they'll just kind of leave everybody behind and like I'm done with that. So how did that all work out?
So when I joined the military, I bought my sister came along with me. My
Oh,
sister,
really?
she's the one right behind me. I mean, she's the one ahead of me. I'm the baby girl.
Oh,
So
wow.
she came with me.
Mhm.
And one of the things I have to say is sometimes you have to leave the environment in which you were broken in.
Yeah.
And me leaving and joining the military, it showed me a whole new perspective on life and
Mhm.
family. So
Mhm.
one of the things that I take away from the military is it shaped the way I see family, the way I view my past, the way I view
Mhm.
my future, and it gave me a sense of growth and understanding and maturity that I never had, and I wouldn't have had I stayed there. Because when you
Wow.
stay in a place where you are broken, you don't
Mhm.
grow.
Ah.
You won't grow. So moving away allowed me to grow. My environment shifted, my environment changed. And because my environment changed, I was able to grow. It's just like a plant. If you have a plant that's in a small little pot and it's
Mhm.
growing tall, at some point, because there's so much roots and the roots have become restricted, the plant eventually it reaches to the capacity that it can grow and it just starts to die.
Mhm.
So if you take that plant out of that pot and put it in a bigger pot, it gives it more room to grow. There's more room for the roots to expand. So the plant now starts to grow. It's the same thing like me. God uprooted me from where I was and planted me somewhere else. And that happens to be the United States. And in the United States and in the military, I was able to grow because I had my roots were able to expand and my perspective and conceptualization was able to grow from seeing different things, different dynamic, different cultures, all of that came into to shape who I became and to help me let go of the brokenness and see it different.
Mhm.
Because you can be broken, but you don't have to stay broken.
There you go. You don't have to stay broken. What a wonderful message. And then hence the title of the book. How to, deal with being broken and yeah, you bring up some great points. Sometimes if we do stay in the same place, physical environments, it's hard to see outside of the box. Sometimes we need to step outside of ourselves and take a good look. At some point, do you get back involved with religion? Do you rediscover your religion maybe in your journey? And once you've gotten away and from your family and how you were raised?
Religion, I would say I gotten away from religion, but I got a better perspective on
Mhm.
Christianity.
Ah.
Religion is the institute, but Christianity is where you zone into being Christ-like. So
Hmm.
I would say I had to relook my faith and what I believe because coming from a devout, religious home that really didn't mirror what the Bible talks about love and treating one another. I didn't that was not what I experienced from that perspective. However, when I started really seeing it differently and understanding that sometimes because my mom and herself was broken too.
Yeah.
So the way she expressed her love is how she knew it. And
Hmm.
you have to you have to accept people where they are, basically.
Hmm.
They are where they are. So for me, I had to revisit my faith. My faith is what actually, believe it or not, kept me and keeps me today. It is
Hmm.
my belief that all the things that we go through works together somehow for our good. It don't feel good. That's the truth. It
At the
don't feel
time, right?
good. But the word of God says all things work together for good. And when you're in the middle of whatever that is, that chaos, that trauma, that pain, you can't see good in it because all you see is darkness and why is this happening to me and how am I going to get over this?
Hmm.
But after you come through that storm and you're on the other side and you're looking back and you're like, wow, that thing
Hmm.
has helped really shape my perspective now. So when I interact with people, I can see them different. I can talk to them different. I can treat them different because now I understand that the road I was called to walk was so that when I go back or look back or encounter someone, I can help them, help bring them out of that dark place.
There you go. And what a beautiful thing. And you put it down in your book so that you can share that and everything else. So as we go out, give people a final pitch out to pick up your book and order it wherever fine books are sold and your .coms.
So if you feel like you are experiencing something, and I'll show you the book again, Beautifully Broken, and you can find it on Amazon and Walmart, on Barnes and Nobles, just about anywhere. And you can also go to my website, beautifullyblessed.com, and you can pick up a copy of Beautifully Broken and read it, understand it, walk through the times with me, see how I overcome, understand that when you put your faith and trust in God, He will never leave you. He will see you through to the very end of it. That you do not have to be stuck. You don't have to stay stuck. You will go through life, you will experience trauma, but the trauma do not have to define the very end of who you are. We are meant as people to continue to grow and to thrive. So when you find yourself stuck anywhere, regardless of where that is, realize that there is still an opportunity for you to move forward. That being stuck is not the end for you. It's actually the launching pad for you going forward.
There you go. What a wonderful message. Thank you very much, Lavon. We really appreciate that. And then can you give us your .com one more time too?
It's beautifullyblessed.com.
There we go. Well, thank you very much, Lavon, for coming to the show. We really appreciate you and your inspiring message you share.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Voss.
Thank you. And thanks, friends, for tuning in. Order up her book wherever fine books are sold. It's entitled Beautifully Broken, Learning to Trust God in My Brokenness, out November 26, 2024. All the great books that came out during COVID. Such a great writing period. I mean, there might have been more books published at that time by real people, I should say. There's been an AI thrust of tons of books, but there you go. Thanks, friends, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss. LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss. Chris Voss, one of the TikTok and all this crazy place. The internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.
All right, Lavon.